Guess what? We're gonna start it off with the draft. It's gonna be again between Aura Fire and EVOS Legends. And right off the bat, we see that Fanny banned out by EVOS Legends, Joy taken up by Aura Fire.
Ooh, okay. So here's the debate, right? Whether Lancelot will be banned out or not, very, very unlikely as a first phase ban. But besides the Lancelot, for EVOS Legends, Aura Fire needs to be careful of Taz. So Taz also favors the Lancelot, but he also favors, other than that, he loves his Fredrin, he loves his Fanny, but it's all banned out. He loves his Fredrin, he loves the Link. He has even played Baxia as well. So kind of like a pattern of like he likes those kind of heroes that has a lot of mobility in them, ability to just go across the map in a quick match.
Yeah, we see Evo taken out by Evo's side as well. Again, on the other end, the Angela being banned out. I think that was also the same ban that we saw from RSGPH when they went up against RSG Singapore. Another question is, right, does the Lancelot still fit in the first phase? I personally don't think that will be the case anymore because the Fanny was prioritized. I think right now you are going down the list of what you want to ban out in the first phase. I know that in Indonesia, I know that outside of Malaysia, Singapore at least, the Kaja in that tier 1 scene is more generously being let go from the bans. So I wonder what EVOS Legends happen.
I guess if I was EVOS Legends, I would also kind of like want to ban out the iffy ones. I was about to say Arlot, because Arlot is very flexible. You can play it like either in the jungle, or you can play as a roam, because High has played that before. So they don't want to go through the headache of like, okay, well, I think what kind of Arlot are they going to play? So they might as well just ban it.
Yeah, that it's gonna put Aura Fire in a pretty interesting spot. So you have the Joy and the Angela ban. Again, I have Valentina, Farsa. There are a lot of options that they can kind of go for right now. I think when you look at first pick material, right, we've seen a couple of that Fredrin. I think Lancelot first pick is slightly rarer because when we look back at the Open Finals, at least in the tier 2 side, game like Euphoria, these guys, they love Lancelot first pick. In this case, I don't think that will be the case. Farm is being banned out. That was a hero that I think Aura Fire themselves do pick for Sin every now and then.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they banned out the Farmis, because Farmis recently has been nerfed. That his Altar's cooldown is very, very long now. And I don't think it will be a hot pick throughout the tournament. So I don't know if this will be like a wasted pick, or is there some sort of strategy to they think of. But Valentina, very, very safe early pick, like what Jace mentioned. So with the Valentina on one side, we might see a Farsa or Yves being one of the early picks on the other side. But don't be surprised if we do see even like a Kadita mid as well.
That could be an option, right? I think again, right, Kadita has a very, very strong flex pick. We've seen plenty of times. Paquito picked up as well. I think Jace, he did tell me we had a bit of a conversation prior to that, and Paquito, you get more shield with for your first ability, so that's gonna give you a lot more to stay in lane. But these 1v1 duels get slightly deadlier when you're up against Paquito. Clock also picked up by Aura Fire.
Ooh, okay. So this still allows Aura Fire to either pick like a Yves or a Farsa at least, and definitely it will not be counter pick on since they already have the Valentina. So instead, they might want to consider to go for the Lancelot. Is still open though. So looking at the current condition, maybe this is an opportunity for EVOS to actually pick the Lancelot for Taz.
Yeah, I feel the same as well. I think that if you are on the side of Aura Fire, right, you do slightly lock yourself out of the Lancelot, because if you pick the Lancelot right now, you are telling EVOS that, alright, this Paquito is going into the XP lane, it takes away the entire kind of flex factor. So Uranus and the Kaja is going to be picked up by the side of EVOS Legends, and now we're going to have a bit of the issue with the current draft right now. The Farsa gets picked up for the side of Aura Fire, but in the early to mid phase, I'm looking for someone to deal with Fluffy, and there's no one to deal with him at this time.
Yes, can you imagine Fluffy with the real world Fluffy will be able to combo really well together with like a Claude, or maybe even like a Beatrix. Okay, alright, so now I'm thinking about combos, right? So since we have the Kaja with a pole, I would say Kaja, if he's able to pull one back, maybe Claude would be the good one to just delete someone from the Land of Dawn. So that could be a consideration for our Fire to ban out.
They do ban out the Franco on the side of EVOS Legends, so you don't have this interesting interaction where your Kaja tries to kidnap someone and gets kidnapped instead by the Franco. But the Leslie ban for Aura Fire, that one I trying to figure out what was the reason. They're also banning out the carry, so they're banning tank shredders, which means that you know, for the roam role Aura Fire, they're looking at something that is incredibly tanky that you can't go through. I mean, I'm looking at something like maybe the Kufra could be a good choice since you do have the Valentina. You can stop. What is this in the tank department? I feel like Kufra is the one that I can think of. Maybe the Akai. We've seen that being picked up. Prior, I think it's MPL Indonesia itself. There it is, Kufra getting banned out by EVOS Legends, so they read it right.
So they still have another option though. So another common one that Aura Fire has picked is a glue to play as the tank role. If not a glue, then maybe a Lapu Lapu, but they will also give away like some of the position of Kido especially. So we're gonna see the next pick here just to be sure. Oh yeah, the Fedrin. Almost forgot about that. Fedrin can play the tank build as well.
Yeah, of course. And that so I think at least there's an alternative, right? It still opens up kind of the roam role for the side of Aura Fire. You're gonna have the Fredrin in the jungle. Fredrin is still going to be a potential flex. It really does come down to what EVOS Legends want to go for the jungler, which they will have to review right now. So I think Aura Fire, they still have some reservations for that final pick. Normally you don't see too much teams put that roam at the end. But for EVOS Legends, they're going to go for a safer opener. They're going to have the Martis in the jungle, Brody in the gold lane, just so you can just absolutely bully the plot.
I do worry about them managing the Uranus though. Pakido will play a very important role in managing the Uranus, and Pakido has to be able to lock him down as much as possible. And if Pakido fails to lock down the Uranus, I worry that we might see a repeat of EVOS PH again coming soon.
I do agree. I mean, we've seen, you know, Nats do it with Uranus. We've seen him do it with Charizla. The Novaria roam, I think this is something that when Novaria was first released, right, a lot of people put her in mid. I personally play her in the middle lane most of the time, but you can bring her to roam because she does have very good abilities to check brushes. Her passive Star Trail is very great because it allows all of her Astral Spears to reveal brushes, right? She has long range skills to check with the Astral Recall to do so as well. So if you want to avoid Kaja, you want to avoid these kind of ganks, yeah, Novara is a pretty good choice, but she does have her weaknesses. Mobility is her biggest weakness. She has no means of escaping.
Except for if you're smart enough to play through the walls, right? But the scary part is that the opponent has a Kaja. So Kaja, Flickering, Divine Judgment, and if that becomes the first target, it's easily deleted because as a mage, the amount of life is not as much. But ladies and gentlemen, let's head on to game number 1 between EVOS Legends and Aura Fire.
Oh, so exciting if you are an Indonesian fan. I think that looking at the record of Aura Fire, once more they've come so far. And the format itself for Snapdragon is so interesting, right? Because you have teams that earn their right in the top 12 just by being good in their domestic scene, and then you have teams that have to earn it and kind of fight through the other teams who are struggling for the same spot. And here we have Aura Fire, both for the jungler starting on lateral jungle, no contest. I was expecting maybe Dream's gonna get into the jungle and kind of disrupt Fan a little bit, but he's gonna try and protect the Smartest and give him a good head start.
Okay, so at least at the bottom we can see that there's some management onto a Fluffy, but to a certain extent it seems that Fluffy is still 50-50 though, but at least it's better than the last time we saw Uranus being played. But we might see a first blood really soon at the mid lane as everyone's gathered there moving towards the top.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you are Kimura, right, you can't really man-fight Fluffy because you have the Brave Smite, and now they're going to come in for a gang instant decimate at level 4, first blood for pass.
Oh, there you go. So with Fluffy having some help. Oh, but speaking about help, Brands managed to flicker away, so he's okay for now. But I think one of the key areas will still be the bottom lane, with Fluffy being there, and now he's gotten a little bit of help to win the lane. And if he continues to snowball, that entire bottom lane will be dominated by EVOS Legends.
And again, right, Fluffy have Brace Might, so every time you trade against him, he's gonna heal because he's Uranus, and he's gonna heal because of Brace Might. And he's already hit level 4. Kimura is still at 3, he only has the Quantum Charge, so I don't see a universe where he can just man-fight this Uranus. Van is gonna find him, but it's a Fredrin. Meanwhile, look at Kimura, he's kind of stuck underneath the tier 2. They're gonna try and finish him off as High and Van, what are they gonna do against Fluffy? Nothing! And Kimura gets given up. It's an 0-2 for the Paquito as the turtle stolen away by Van. A consolation prize for Aura Fire.
Yeah, at least they got something there. So the goal gap is not that big now. It's about a 500 difference, so it was 300 at some point. But look at the movement again by Fluffy. I'm be keeping my eye on Fluffy because I really want to know how will Aura Fire manage this Fluffy now that he has some level of control on the lane. But if they were to just send Kimura down onto him, then well, Kimura is locked in with Fluffy. Who else is going to go in and take the fight on the backline, especially with the fact that Hijume will be there at the backline to dish out damage. Brand will be there as well. So there's no one else who will be able to jump on behind.
Yeah, there really is no one, honestly. But you can see the entire Ghost Shield has already been depleted. Like, what, 2.5 minutes in on the bottom side. We saw that as the Astral Echo from High just to check the brush. And that's what the Novara is going to be doing for the rest of the game. Just constantly checking these areas to make sure they don't get anyone kidnapped. And I say that Van is going to get dragged by with Divine Judgment. The artillery comes in from Sin, but it's not enough as Taz almost takes down Hyde. Now he's isolated. Sin can be placed for the trade back as Hyde escapes through the wall with the Astral Recall. So a 1-for-1 as Kimura shows up, not finding anyone.
Oh, Hijume flickered at the right timing as Kimura came to the top. Luckily, he still have that in hand. But that also means that Kimura, he was distracted, so he had to leave the bottom lane, and now he's going back down. But just look at Kimura as well as a Fluffy. Again, these two just doing pretty much mirroring each other on either side of the map. But there seems to be a lot more commitment from Aura Fire onto Fluffy, so that will open up more space for the top lane, especially Brands to farm.
And I think another problem that they might eventually have to deal with on Aura Fire's side is how are you going to deal with Fluffy when you don't have enough consistent damage, right? That has to come from Kabuki himself. Everyone else is burst. Sinus has burst damage. Kimura is burst damage. High is burst damage. Fluffy is just going to heal back up if you can't bring his health down in a steady pace. Aura Fire gathering around this turtle pit as the dance begins.
And you know what? You mentioned about Kabuki, right? So Kabuki's biggest damage dealing skill is going to be the Blazing Duet. And if he uses that onto a Fluffy alone, it's probably not going to be worth it. But we might see a fight in the middle here with the better airstrike turned on. But it's going to be Van securing the turtle again.
Very good just against Aura Fire. There it is. Astral Recall. Instant meter to the face. Snipe onto Taz. Lovely stuff from High. They also took the turtle away. So Aura Fire, despite Kimura having a horrible XP lane experience, they have equalized the goal just because they stole the first turtle and secured the second.
Oh yeah, let's not forget as well, Fluffy can sidestep. So even if you turn on the Blazing Duet onto him, he just sidesteps and he's like, okay, cool. And the Blazing Duet will be wasted. So you need some kind of lockdown to him. So are you going to depend on Dreams to pull out the Divine Judgment onto him? That means 2 outs just onto one Fluffy. And even that you can't guarantee because of his level of tankiness to take him down.
No, I'll tell you what, it will never happen because Dreams and Fluffy are on the same team. Flicker forward from Dreams.
Oh yeah.
Trying to look for High, a good reaction with the Flicker. So Novara will escape, but this entire brush out of commission. High gonna start checking it with ability, and that's gonna grant vision. He see 3 people of Evil Legends.
Sorry, my brain went brain dead there. So that means, in other words, like how else are you going to lock down Fluffy? Like there's no answer to that. Like based on theory.
No, it's just Van, right? But even then, it's not enough. Again, Astral Echo is going to be there. Just get some vision, get the slow, some decent chip damage onto Dreams. Aura Fire can't progress right now. You're not able to push any turrets. Kimura, again, you're never going to win the matchup against Fluffy down bottom. And on the other lanes, right, Quad is going to get bullied by the Brody no matter what happens. Van is going to run into 2 of the members, Dreams and Taz with him. Sin will be behind him. Van putting his body forward to force EVOS Legends away. But even then, without minion wave, you can't contest the turrets.
And Van is already pretty decent tanky, so they pretty much don't need Fluffy. And right now, Fluffy is in the house, but he will be the first target.
Trying to burst him, and Divine Judgment right on time to catch Kimura and finish him off. Van in the front line. Stolen artillery is be there, blazing to where Kabuki straight to the back. Echo will be there. Kabuki couldn't finish off in time. Two of the members of EVOS Legends in the red. Hi, can you get the snipe right in the face of Hijumi? He gets it done once more. Aura Fire paying it back twofold of the EVOS Legends.
And despite being behind in terms of kill amounts by 1, they are now in front in terms of goal, and that is where it all matters at this point. So look at the current situation. Fluffy has joined in onto the fight. So this was the conversation that I had with Jace earlier on. It's like, okay, how do you counter Uranus? Is to fight fire with fire. Like if Uranus goes on to the back line, clearing off the lanes, you do the same. So they kind of like even up each other. And I think that was what's being done early on by Kimura. But at some point, they need to move away from the lane as well.
Kimura forced to pop his flicker though. The threat of the Divine Judgment was there. Echo again, high. Giving some info for the team. EVOS Legends are moving 2 more members. Team flickers forward. Actually couldn't get a Divine Judgment. And now for the airstrike is there. Not going to catch Stream in time. The turret goes down. And that means that Aura Fire has lost the layer of protection. Nothing can be done. Sin and Kimura, they both fall. And it's a double for Taz.
Oh, Taz getting 2 kills there. So now they can focus onto other areas. Coming to the mid lane, that should be the next target as there's no one there to really take care of it. Fluffy is now roaming around. He's no longer playing that clearing wave sort of role. He's now joining into team fights instead.
By the way, are you looking at his health just now? He got hit by a spell from high, and then his health went back to full with his 2 seconds. That's the Fluffy we're dealing with right now. That's the Fluffy that Aura Fire is dealing with. His name might be Fluffy, he's definitely not Fluffy at all. That is not the characteristic of something Fluffy.
Just have a real confidence into Fluffy now that he's at the front, and he will go in first. So now the fight's gonna happen anytime soon, as it's only about 50% more to the Lord.
The airstrike, stolen one from Valentina, using it for the first now. Counter the airstrike again, Van. Good on the retribution to get the Lord. But can it win the fight though? Blazing to wet. Where is it? Used already, but doesn't do enough damage. The shutdown will be there from Sin onto Taz as Fluffy finds himself in the midst of everything. He can flicker forward. And of course, the Brody Brass also shows up with his own damage. It's 3 for EVOS Legend, and Aura Fire only finds 1.
Very smart from EVOS Legends to lock down Van at the back line. So taking it out, that means that, their strategy was just to separate out Van, because I guess they know that Van is one of the key players for Aura Fire, and it doesn't matter whether they expand the Divine Judgment to him, that's fine. And it worked out for him. I guess, to summarize it, it's a strategy of like divide and conquer.
Yeah, I mean, again, right, the Frederick, what he wants to do is to stick onto you and consistently just crowd control you again and again and again and again. And when you punch him a bit too many times, he's going to use the Appraiser's Grasp and slam his sword in the face. But he really hates being displaced. So if you can drag him away, then he's going to cry a lot. By the way, Kimura just went for the Dominance High, and he's 0-5, so Kimura is not going to be doing much damage. Aura Fire will have to kind of use Kimura as a distraction, right? Just making sure that whenever Dreams show up, Kimura is going to kind of mini stun lock him so he doesn't get an instant pull. That's his job right now. He's not going to be assassinating anyone anytime soon. Yeah,
to a certain extent, that's like a mini answer to Fluffy getting the dominance eyes. I can totally understand why they went for that. But now the record is that Fluffy has yet to die even once. So I guess that's why they try to do something about that. But is it going to be too late for them? That's going to be the question. Now, let's see. We might get that question answered here.
Little poke and prod down the bottom. The conceal used as well by Dream. Looking for a target. Can't find it. Still at the flicker back online as well. So gonna be able to go for that ambush once more. And that's why the role of this Novaria is so important, right? You get to kind of check the bushes, and making sure that EVOS Legends, they're not going to be hiding in any dark corners and going for the Divine Judgment, because the later the game goes, one Divine Judgment is all it takes to end the game, just like the Franco Iron Hook.
And you must get the right target though. So I guess among all these right now, the right target, I would say arguably might be Kimura or Hai. I think either one of those would be great. But looking at the top lane right now, Kimura, speaking about him, he's been locked in together with Fluffy. They're playing fire versus fire between the both of them. And Kimura seems to be losing the plot considering that Fluffy has backed up together with him. But at the same time, the bottom lane is being shoved out by the members of Aura of Fire, but they don't have enough time.
Honestly, I think that right now what EVOS Legends are doing is fantastic. While you're playing towards the weak side of Aura of Fire, which is Kimura, you know that there's nothing he can do, so you just constantly bully him. And look at the distribution right now. Kimura is not able to join his team. Aura of Fire decides that, you know what, we're just going to pull off the Lord. Let Kimura cut the wave. This is his job right now. He's not winning a 5v5 with us. We want him to play distraction. And Fluffy immediately matches him on the top side. So we're going to have this essential 4v4 around the Lord Pit with Aura of Fire just slowly eating away.
Ooh, okay, we might see a fight happening anytime soon. Okay, we do have the Flicker, we do have the Divine Judgment, so he can jump in anytime, but he's waiting for the Lord to go down a little bit more before they make the move. You can see Dreams. Okay, Fluffy's going to come in from the back line.
The Astra use Hijume and Dreams walking out just in time. The Astro Echo is going to be there. They have full vision. Kimura jumps in and massive damage from High as well. The Lord dropping low. Fluffy jumps in, pops the Consecration. Will EVOS Legends get the Lord right now? Aura Fire looking to rush it down with the Retribution again from Van. Accurate as always. Takes the objective. He is 5-0 right now on objective steals.
Oh yeah, I mean perfect run for him so far when it comes to objective stealing. That's why they are still ahead in terms of gold, despite their amount of kills are not as much. And with the Lord pushing at the top lane, well, it is still the first Lord, so it can be taken out fairly fast. But if they overcome,
second Lord, my friend, it's the second Lord.
Oh yeah, it's the second Lord already. Okay, so this is push time for Aura of Fire.
Yeah, well, we're moving pretty fast, Cloud. I mean, 14 minutes in,
man.
2 Lords already. Aura of Fire doing it well on the objective game, and just really good at kind of salvaging Kimura, right? Again, he has had a really rough game so far thanks to the matchup in question. But Aura Fire getting these objectives and making sure that High is always checking all these unknown areas. It is preventing EVOS Legends from getting any cash. Now, better airstrike use as well to push the rest of EVOS Legends back. They will get the inhibitor on the top side. Hijume in the front line. They need some decent damage. Kimura will force him away as look at Kabuki. He's shredding Fluffy, and that's what you want to see with your plot. And Aura Fire continuing this push on the middle lane as well. EVOS Legends could not withstand the power of Aura Fire.
Now it's Van's turn to get a Dominance Ice as they will put pressure onto the bottom lane too, while clearing up the jungle at the same time. Fluffy all alone. He has an immortality though, so he's willing to take that risk.
Got the air use as well. Dream pinned down against the wall. And that's your project out for 1.5 minute. The Echo is stolen by Hijume to use it. But they can't hold a candle to Aura Fire right now. Mid inhibitor has been destroyed. But EVOS Legends, they're able to clear out the bottom wave, so Aura Fire will fall back for now.
Yeah, very disciplined gameplay there by Aura Fire. Okay, now checking out the items. Pretty much almost full build for Aura Fire. EVOS Legends about there as well. So the theory, normally the theory is about, okay, if you kind of hit 50k in terms of net worth, it's like by that time the goal doesn't really matter anymore. It's all about how execution happens for the teams and who makes the first mistake.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the Valentina, right? Just full on utility. You have the Immortality, the Athena Shield, Clock of Destiny as well, even the Steel Leggings. So Hijume is not looking to do massive damage, but he's going to be there to provide the utility that his team needs. Van again, this Brick Wall of Aura Fire, Sin, found out by Taz, but Taz can't follow out. Suddenly Greens took a massive help, but now the full assault with the Feather Airstrike and the Blazing Duet in combination to take out Dreams for another 30 seconds.
Oh, Taz and showing some face there, but Kimura's opening up the bottom lane, so they're going to do a double pressure now. At the same time, the Lord is going to come up, so looks like Kimura can still stay at the bottom lane, putting pressure. And EVOS Legends will be confused, like, okay, do we want to go for the Lord or do we want to try to stop the split push? And either way, it's going to be hard for them to decide as Aura Fire will take advantage of that confusion.
We say we wanted that steady damage output is necessary to kind of threat Fluffy, right? And Kabuki has delivered on all fronts. Has the Purify, so you can't really use the Divine Judgment on him. He has the Winds of Nature, so you can't really burst him down if you are Brands ready right now. Athena Shield bought by Kabuki also, so magic damage burst, that one is out of the questions. Not that EVOS Legend had much to begin with, as Hijume did go mostly resistance item. So this third Lord barreling down the middle lane. You get Aura Fire, they're setting up the side waves as well.
You know what, to a certain extent, it feels like Kabuki is like the bait. It's like he's set up for like, you can't do anything to him, but yet he's important to take down just because he's the marksman. That's why we can see that he has yet to secure a kill based on the stats. But this might happen now.
So the fact that Astra used an Aura Fire response with the authentic one, Aura Fire. Breaking that last inhibitor in the bottom lane to see the final blow again. The knockup is there, Fluffy losing the immortality. Van is still alive in the midst of things, finally taken down by Taz. As Fluffy was able to retreat, and Aura Fire, not the time to end the game just yet, but they did leave the base of EVOS Legend in ruins.
Wow, very disciplined gameplay there by Aura Fire. The moment they see that, okay, Van is down, okay, let's back out. They know how important Van is to them. I'm just waiting for the right moment where Kabuki gets his first kill because he should be ready by now.
Oh, Kabuki, a weird position to be in, but it seems that no one can stop him. Kabuki is fighting this. Oh, the battle mirror image right there to reposition, but Taz has found him. Kabuki fighting on more than he could chew, and that's EVOS Legends' time to pounce. The Winter Trunking used as well by Kimura. Not that it matters though, he still ends up going down and full for EVOS Legends. Aura Fire did get two in return as well, but weird interaction in the jungle.
Unfortunately for EVOS Legends, they can't push that because at the top lane, they're being pressured by the minions knocking on their door and they don't have the manpower to really push. And not to mention the damage as well. So that allows Aura Fire to reset themselves and just keep EVOS Legends away from their side of the map.
And look at this as a replay, right? You get the Divine Judgment hitting on Kimura. Kabuki ambushes them with the Blazing Duet, repositions back into the brush, ends up losing his life, but I suppose they also trade the Brody in return, so it's not the worst scenario. But if you're on EVOS Legends side, getting these kills, it's gonna be worth it, right? It's very important when you are delaying the game and you're getting crucial kills on the enemy core.
Yeah, and when they talk about like the theory of when everyone will max out their items, is it's about time now. So it's also about now who makes the first mistake or who makes that wrong move, and they'll be countered by the other team. So Aura Fire is also waiting for the right moment as well. But for Fluffy, we can see that he's totally ignored in the middle and right about so. But that also means that they don't have a real answer to Fluffy yet.
Yeah, and that's the only... I mean, Fluffy is doing the best he can, right? That's the lane that, you know, you need to cut as fast as you can because it's the shortest lane on the map. And because Fluffy has been constantly occupying this mid lane, it does allow EVOS Legends to get onto the Lord. Taz starting on him, bringing it down to already 35,000 HP. Van's gonna join in, he's left all alone. His team needs him. He's gonna get dragged back with the Divine Judgment. Van can't keep, but can he get to the Praise of Wrath out in time? Yes, he can! Van staying alive for longer than he should have. And Aura Fire pounces onto EVOS Legends. The Tigers could not hold a candle to Aura Fire. The third Lord secured, immortality popped by Hijume, but there's nothing else left for EVOS Legends. Aura Fire with a slow start, and now they strike back with a blaze. 3 dead for EVOS Legends, and Aura Fire looks to take a 1.
Oh, and we have to give it to Van, the man. I mean, again, another retribution secured onto the objective. And with that win, they'll definitely close this off. Now, this is going to be the last stage fight here for EVOS Legends as Taz will target onto Sin, and Sin, but the last thing he'll manage to get away.
Nothing that they could do. Aura Fire have definitely done it in this game number 1. Not a glorious comeback, but definitely a great recovery from that early to mid. I mean, it started with Fluffy giving Kimura a world of problems that he just could not solve. For Aura Fire winning on the objective fight, winning on the objective steal. Van, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. 3 turtles, 3 lords, all uncontested. And it was nothing that EVOS Legends could do, right? We say Fluffy, his cutting the wave is virtually unkillable, and even then, he was not able to put on the pressure onto Aura Fire.
Yeah, and he is playing a Pedrin, and Pedrin is tanky to just walk in, say hi, and just retribution. He just needs to land the right timing. But we did expect that the matchup between these two teams is going to be really, really tight. So we are served with a very tight match. It does at some point look like EVOS Legends going to win it, but Aura Fire just too strong.